Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing? How was dinner last night?
Great.
The talk? Did you guys enjoy that talk?
Yep.
I did too. I thought it went well. It went incredibly well, in fact. It was sad that we forgot to record it. Taylor, where were you? So this is the last morning session for the workshop. So all good things, I guess, must come to an end at some point. The theme for today is about opportunities. It's all about opportunities of various types, right? Opportunities at your institutions, opportunities outside your institutions, opportunities while you're a student, opportunities after you are no longer a student. And so bear that in mind as we have two excellent speakers presenting opportunities at their various institutions, and then I'll talk a little bit about broadly other types of opportunities that are available. As you're listening, take notes, right? So in the second part of the morning session, it's going to be hands-on, and your responsibility during that session is to pick at least one or two of the opportunities that you've heard about and initiate, possibly even finalize an application for that opportunity, right? And so pay attention, ask questions, of course, and track which of these opportunities sound the most interesting to you. And because, again, in the second half of the morning session, you'll be applying to those interesting opportunities or to some subset of them. So with that, we're going to kick off the morning session. It's my pleasure to introduce Emily Robinson from the Los Alamos National Labs, and she helps to run the student programs at Los Alamos, and she'll tell you all about it. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Emily Robinson. I'm actually the undergraduate and graduate program coordinator for the lab. We do have a team of three. We have Scott Robbins, and then we also have a high school internship coordinator, just so you guys can get like an overview of what we offer. How many of you are undergraduates right now? How many are graduates? Okay, good. So we have both. Basically, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go over what our program's all about and how you go and apply. And before we even started any of this, we handed out a couple of flyers. It does have my contact information on there, as well as Scott Robbins. If you guys have any questions at all regarding the process, the program in general, just give us an email or a phone call. I also have some business cards that you guys can come and get when we're done with this. The other handout that I gave you was actually how you apply to an online job application through the lab. And I try to go in depth a little bit in my presentation on how to do that, but I'm not connected to the internet, so we may not have all that. So that is a good resource to look through, especially if you're really interested in coming to the lab, the Los Alamos National Lab. Oh, I did need that. Thank you. Awesome, yeah.
There's a switch on the side of the phone.
Awesome.
There's a switch.
Switch.
Awesome. Right there.
Alright, on. Cool, thank you. So I'm just going to go over kind of what we're all about in the Student Programs Office. So in general, it's on that thing. In general, we have about 1,100 students, but since 2015 I've been in the program. We've had 1,600 students. So our program has grown quite a bit over the last couple of years. I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. Okay. So usually, every summer, we have about 300 new hires that come to the lab. I have 350 year-round students, meaning they work part-time during the school year, and most of them go either to Northern New Mexico College or even UNM Los Alamos, a lot of those. And then we have 450 returning students from all over the world. That's kind of what our student body looks like, and we have about 77 high school students, if you guys wanted to know. But yeah, so you guys will be, if you are interested in getting an internship at the lab, you could be one of those 300. I think we're actually, though, anticipating having about 400 to 500 new hires this year just because of our trends going up. So, just some of our minimum requirements that you guys need to know. We do require that, is it going over again? Come on, stop. Pause. Just so you know, if you're an undergraduate, you do need to be a full-time student. The lab qualifies a full-time student. A 12 credit hours is a full-time student at the lab. So if you have 12 credit hours both the fall and the spring, and you've maintained a 3.0 or above GPA, you will qualify for our undergraduate program. Now, if you are like at a 2.95, which I don't think any of you are, but if you are, you won't be eligible to apply until you get to that 3.0. Our grad program is a little bit more intensive. We do require that you have a 3.2 GPA and you are a full-time student, but the full-time student is only 6 credit hours each semester. That's really what we look for. We screen all of the applications. We work with our HR team to get you guys hired on if you meet these requirements. I'm sure it's going to do its thing. Yeah, do you have questions?
Yeah, just really quick.
Sure.
So what if you took 9 credits in the spring, in the fall, and then like 15
As an undergrad?
So could you repeat the question, please?
So the question was, what if I took 9 credit hours in the fall, and then I'm taking 15 credit hours in the spring? You technically, it's still doing its thing. You technically would not qualify because you need to have your 12 credit hours each semester, which I know could be a pain because I do get that quite a bit. But again, you want to make sure you are full-time each of the semesters before you apply. So say you took like 9 once, like 2 years ago, we're not going to look at that, that's okay, and then you made 15 credits the next semester, that won't matter. But as long as you're doing your 12, you can do more. I mean, a lot of our students, they do about 16 to 18 sometimes, just to make up the credit that they might have lost. Yes?
What if I am in my 4th year and I don't have that?
Oh, so that's the other exception we do make. So if you're graduating in May, like that, we understand you didn't need to take your full course load, but you do need to prove once you are hired on that you graduated. So if you decided, oh no, I got a D in something, I didn't get the credit, then you wouldn't be eligible anyway, but if that makes sense. Any other questions about our minimum requirements? Yeah.
Are there any opportunities now for those who will maybe graduating in May for this summer? Any opportunities now?
Any opportunities now? Yeah, so basically our application, it's year round. You can apply at any time. I'm just here recruiting for the summer because that's really our most busy season. Obviously, I think the lab employs, maybe it's like 10 to 12,000 people all together. And our population grows by, like 20% when students come during the summer. So it's a really active place to be during the summer months. It's crazy. But it's fun, too. Our population of Los Alamos actually grows immensely because everyone's trying to find housing. So if you guys are interested in coming up to Los Alamos and you want to live there, you better find housing now for the summer because it's really, really limited come March. But yeah, year-round, you can apply as long as you're willing to either commute or if you're done with school, that's fine. Any other questions? Yeah.
Sorry. So you said you have like students from all around the world. So is there any strict citizenship required? Or?
So I mean, we do have a whole list of sensitive countries, but and they still are able to be hired on. They just have to go through a much more vigorous visa process.
Oh, okay.
And instead of taking 60 days, it could take anywhere from 90 to 120 days. So if if you're out in one of those sensitive countries, you want to get all your stuff in now so that you can start in May.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions so far about our minimum requirements? Okay. Now let's make sure that this doesn't go all crazy on me again. Let's see, slideshow. So minimum requirements was covered. And if you guys are like, I don't know if I qualify for the program, you can email me an unofficial copy of your transcript, and I'll look it over and I'll say, maybe not this semester, or yeah, of course you are able to. This is crazy. Okay. So applying for the internship. I gave you that handout, which it's very helpful. It goes over everything, what you need to do on creating a profile on our job website to actually what job you'll want to apply to. So if say you're graduating in May, and you're like, I'm going to be a post-bachelor student, because I know you guys get excited, you're like, yes, you're actually not going to apply for the post-bachelor's position because you do not have your diploma, or at least your degree on your transcript just yet. So if you're applying right now and you're graduating in May, you actually want to apply to the undergraduate program, and then once you're actually physically at the lab, that's when you will send me your documentation saying, I graduated, look at me, and I'll say, congratulations, that's wonderful, and then I will change you to being a post-bac. And that could take up, UNM takes about 6 weeks to get your degree conferral date on there. So just so you guys know, it could take up to 6 weeks after you graduate before you become that post-bachelor's. Or if you're trying to go to graduate school and you've gotten in, but you still haven't graduated with your bachelor's degree, You will still apply for the undergraduate program, and then once you provide me the documentation saying I am a grad student, I will switch you over to being our graduate research assistant. Any questions? Yeah.
So would it work the same for grad students?
Who are graduating? Exactly. So you'll do the master's, you'll go through the GRA program, that's where you're gonna apply. But once you have that documentation, you'll email it to me and say, look, I actually did graduate, so please move me over and give me a pay raise, which everyone does, believe me. And I'll say, great, I'll do it. So if you look through that handout, it's a really in-depth, I mean, it's basically what I say here. It's a good thing to check out our student page, which is on lanel.gov. It's under the careers tab. Check it out. I mean, there's a lot of resources there that you can use, you know, if you were like, I have no idea what everyone's talking about. You can get all of our information on that web page. And I don't think I'll be able to do, let's see, the abstract book, but I do have it on here. So, most people who don't know anybody at the lab have a hard time getting a job at the lab. So what we've come up with was, the application process is more than just applying online. If you really want to work with someone, and if you know someone who works at the lab, it's really helpful. So what we've come up with, every year we do a student symposium. This is the 16th annual student symposium abstract book. So, and you guys are all in computing, is that correct? Like some type of computers? So we can look at that. Basically, what this does, every year, our students, there were 250 this past year who entered the symposium, they come up with an abstract and they present a poster at the symposium to judges, they win awards, it's really fun. But this is the abstract book that comes with the symposium. Here is your key resource, and this is actually on lanel.gov under our student page. If you go to the symposium tab, you'll click on that, it'll pop up the last 3 years of our symposium abstract books. What this does for you, it's really helpful, and I'll show you once I get to the bottom. Let's get an abstract. So say you've already applied online, you kind of know what you want to do at the lab, if it's, you know, high performance computing, if it's working, you know, IT, whatever. You'll come to this abstract book, and you'll look through our various computing projects. So this is what an abstract looks like. This isn't computing, this is biosciences. But it's an example of how you can find a mentor for yourself and line it up once you've actually applied. Reaching out to a person and making a point of contact is like key at the lab. So as you can see, this person, Ben Pell, for his program, he's a postbac. Where he goes to school, it's the University of Washington, what group he's working for. But what you're going to take away from all of this, after you've read the abstract and it's spoken to you, you want to work with this person or whoever did this project, it's the mentor. As you can see, this is Sean Starkenberg. So you take that name, you write it down, and you say, okay, he's a potential mentor that I can work with this summer. You write it down. We used to have a phone book that actually had everybody's email and phone number, but we don't have that online anymore. So what you'll do is you'll look through this abstract book, which is on our student page under the symposium tab. You'll look through it, and you'll make up maybe 4 or 5 different projects. You'll email me those mentors' names that you would like, and then I can give you the emails, and then it's your job to email that mentor after you've done the online application. You have to email them a resume and a cover letter, and you say, look, I looked through the abstract book. Your project last summer looks amazing. I know I would be really great for your organization. Do you have any room for either an undergrad, a post-bac, a GRA, whatever? And sometimes they'll say, you know what, I don't have the funding for something like that right now, but I can pass your resume along. So it's really, really a good way to network with someone within the lab that's actually in your field of interest. So the abstract book is your go-to. And if you guys have, I don't have the internet on here because it's disabled, but if you guys look through that and you know right off the bat, email me what you guys want, or the emails you guys want. So abstract book. Do you guys have any questions about the second step on how to apply to an internship? It's really, really helpful, especially even if they say no, you say, okay, thanks so much, and then we move on to the next person on your list, and you do the exact same thing. You probably on your resume, you want to put your GPA, especially if it's a high GPA, you want to do that. You don't need to send anybody transcripts until you're being hired on, and that mentor that you'll be working with will ask for them. Good so far? Cool. So that's one way you can come into the lab, is just applying online and looking through the abstract book and going, let's see, what is, no, that's not it, that's definitely not it. Let's see, okay. Cool. Now, here, slideshow, and it's probably going to do this crazy thing. Okay. That's one way. The second way, we do have other programs as well. So our various other programs. Obviously, I told you we have a high school internship program. If you guys know a high schooler who would like to work at the lab, let them know. We do have also, it's the Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internship, SULI. How many of you guys have heard of this? Awesome. So basically what this is, it's a program that's actually funded through the DOE Office of Science. You guys would have to apply online. I think the deadline for summer just passed. It was January 13th. And now we're placing students with potential mentors. So this is an outside source internship that you guys can use to come into the lab, because we do support it. We also have the community college equivalent internship, and same with the visiting faculty. So if you guys know faculty members who would like to come in and work at the lab for the summer and they want to bring students, that's another way you can get in. We do have a UNM NM Tech STEP program. We're currently placing them right now, so if you guys did apply this year, you're eligible next year. But it's a UNM funded way to get into the lab. So UNM will pay your monthly stipend, and if your mentor wants to kick in some extra money, that never hurts, but that is an option. Then we have a minority serving institutions program. We have a couple of Department of Homeland Security internships that you guys can look at, and all of these, I mean, you can look and Google various laboratory internship programs, and this list will probably come up, and every year things change, so we add more. We don't have a couple students come through some, but there are various other ways where you guys can get funded to come work at the lab. And again, you would have to set up this mentor partnership using the abstract book if you want, or if you're doing it online, like through the DOE Office of Science. Usually what will happen is you'll apply through their webpage, which is completely different from LANL, but then there's that LANL mentors look through it, because we say, hey guys, these students are available and they're funded, so you might as well take them for 10 weeks during the summer. So those are just some other programs and other ways you guys can get into the lab. I kind of went over the CCI and everything and the SULI. I do have a link here, but I don't think it'll actually work. But yeah, so if you Google SULI, it actually is the best way. I know so many students who've come through the SULI program once or twice, so you can do it up to 2 times, either fall, summer, spring. It's all year round. Just make sure that you know when the deadlines are, because the DOE is really tight with those deadlines. If you miss the application date, or even if you put any personal information such as your social security number on there now, they will reject your application. So you gotta be really careful and know exactly what the dates, and make sure nothing. You have to black out everything now.
Identifying information.
Exactly, PII. So just be aware of that. I think the fall, probably, if you're interested in coming to work for this, coming to work at the lab for the fall, the deadline, I think, is probably in July to apply for that. So keep your eyes open for that. And if you want to do it, say, for the spring of next year, it's in like November. So just keep your eyes out. It's a great way to be funded and come work at the lab. And then it's kind of like you're in, because if your mentor really adores you and knows you are good at doing the work, and they have the funding, they'll probably keep you on longer than just your SULI internship. We have a lot of students who go from, like, they've just graduated from college, they try the SULI program, and then they stay on for their post-bac for up to 2 years. Oh yeah, program time limits, I haven't gone over that yet. So you could be an undergraduate for up to 7 years. Hopefully it doesn't take you that long. Sometimes it does. You can be, and then once you've graduated, you have 2 years in the post-bac bachelor's category. And then we ask you, okay, are you being converted to being a regular staff member, or have you gotten into graduate school? And most of our students say, I got into graduate school, and they don't take that full 2 years. Some do, and then they say, oh, I'm not being converted, and then they're kind of out of luck. They have to do a lot of networking before their appointment expires so that they can actually get a real job at the lab. And then same with the postmaster. So GRAs are a little different. So if you're going from a bachelor's degree to a PhD, you have 6 years to complete your PhD and work at the lab. If you're getting your master's, you have up to 3 years. Again, that could result in, I have students who have started in high school and they're now at their PhD level. They've been at the lab for like 15 years. But they've established such a rapport with everybody that they've networked here and there that they probably have a job at the end of their internship. So there are ways to stay permanently if that's what you want to do. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. Again, it's a pretty competitive process. If you can make that contact with a mentor, you're golden, because they'll say, hey, yeah, I have this student, and usually they'll send me all of your information, and I'll look it over to make sure you guys qualify, and then I say yes, then you're in. It's that simple. It does take a couple weeks though, because things, are slow at the government level. So trying to get you on could take a little while, but at least you'll be physically at the lab. So do you guys have any other questions for me? I know we're going to do like a Q&A session in a bit. I do have business cards, and I have freebies. Please take freebies, because I don't need to take them home. Thank you so much for having me.